Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia here. I am live this Wednesday morning with my regular weekly card class to go. This week is a little bit different, though. I'm actually not featuring a stamp set. I'm featuring one of Stampin' Up's card kits. And I want to show you that card kits are a lot more than just what you see in the kit. There's so much that we can do with them just by adding a few extra pieces of cardstock and perhaps an embellishment or two. So I will show you the two absolutely gorgeous cards that this kit creates, and then I'm going to show you a couple of alternatives. So I'm going to switch over to just my desktop. And I'm going to show you what this is all about. So Stampin' Up! Has online exclusive card kits. There's actually quite a few of them. You won't find them in any of our catalogs. You actually have to go to stampinwithleah.ca and check out our kits section. They come in these awesome little boxes, craft and black with polka dots and stripes, and the boxes are really fun to store your cards in afterwards or send gifts in. And then when you open them up, they have everything you need except for a pair of scissors. So this one comes with some Night of Navy ink, a stamp set, and then all of your cardstock, a block to put your stamps on, and your embellishments. So I'm going to move the box out of the way and grab my pair of scissors. This is the only thing you'd need aside from the kit. And we're going to open this up. So many of you are probably wondering, well, how does a kit turn into a weekly card class? Well, just like my regular weekly card classes, with a $60 purchase, you will actually get the PDF and make and take bits that you need to create the cards that I create today. So for this week, you'd want to make sure that part of that, $29 of that, is this card kit. And then you can add in whatever other inks or whatever you'd like, or grab two of these kits and do it with a friend. And then I'll send you the extra bits that I'm going to end up using and the PDF for how to create these cards. So it's exactly as though I was featuring a stamp set, but we're featuring a card kit, so we get some new and exciting product to use. So we've got our block. I actually have so many of these. I'm going to set that off to the side and just use the ones that I have. We have some beautiful, I'm pretty sure this is Calypso Coral linen thread here. I'm going to put my Night of Navy ink spot off to the side as well, because then I don't have to open it up. I've got my Night of Navy ink pad here. Good morning, Kim. And then we have this awesome stamp set. So some of the sentiments here are forever friends, sending lots of hugs, nobody gets me like you get me, you can do hard things, I'm always here for you no matter what, and then some flowers and leaves. So a really pretty little stamp set. And then we get all of the card pieces. So we've got 4 of this beautiful background. We've got 4 of this beautiful background. These are, yeah, they're white on the other side. So really pretty patterns there, gorgeous colors. My favorite part of this is always the envelopes. The envelopes are white on the inside and then have that beautiful shiny old olive stripe on the flap. And when you close it, you see just a tiny bit of that on, sorry, here we go, a tiny bit of it on the front of the envelope as well. So really, really pretty. I'm going to put those off to the side. And there we go. All right, so in your kit, you also get your adhesive. So here we've got some very thin strips of dimensional adhesive. That's really cool. I can't wait to see what that's for. And then we get our card bases. So in this kit, you get enough stuff to make 4 of each of the 2 designs. So we have this beautiful, I'm not sure if this is so saffron or lemon lolly, but a beautiful yellow with, oh, it's hard to see. There we go, polka dots on the front, so very nice. And then some beautiful metallic old olive striped cards. Those are gorgeous. And then we have some sentiment pieces, and I love that they have a little bit of a curve to the corners, and then we've got these decorative stripes. So lots of different things going on. Now every card kit also comes with full darn it. It froze up. Sorry, you guys. I forgot that this was a bit of an issue. So let's see here. Oh, now you guys see my messy desk. Back to the nice part of my desk. There we go. So every card kit also comes with full color instructions, and it shows you how to make the 2 cards. Okay, so we're going to, well, I will show you the 2 cards that come in the kit, and then we're going to make some extra cards, some alternative cards, using the pieces from the kit and a few little extra things. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way. Oh my goodness, so many things. And I am going to start with, let's see, we're going to start with this background. Right there. So we're going to start with this background, and they actually suggest that we use the stamps to add a little bit of color to this and pop out those flowers. So we're going to put the flower onto there, and you do get a block in the kit, so you would just put your images onto the block that came in the kit. I have my own block, so that's what I'm going to do. And then we also want the sentiment, sending lots of hugs. Okay, and double block for that. There we go. Don't lose the stamp set. All right, so we only need 1 color for this whole card, and that is our Night of Navy. So I'm going to open that up, and we are going to start stamping. So I'm going to start with my sentiment. Oh, I did not put that on well. Let's see, sending lots of hugs. And I like to put my sentiments at the tops of my blocks. The reason for that is because then when I'm inking them up, there's less chance of me getting a lot of ink where I don't want it. Now, I haven't used this one yet, so there we go. Just do a double check that it's going to stamp well. Now for this one, I want to line up, I want to make sure that my tops and bottoms of my D's and G's are on my paper strip. There we go. So we've got our sentiment stamped. I'm going to set that off to the side now. And we're going to start stamping these flowers. So before I get ink on here, I'm just going to kind of lay this on top and see if I can figure out, there we go, figure out the direction that this flower goes. I don't want to stamp it in the wrong direction and have it look kind of weird. All right, so there we go. And it looks like they haven't oriented these all the same. So I'm going to have to do a little wiggle every time. Okay, well, I guess we'll just do best fit. All right, kind of like that. There we go. And let's see, that's a short little one. We'll do like that. And just like that. And then we've also got the corner ones to do. And so these ones, we just need a little bit of ink. This one I think is just 2 here like that. And we've got one more tiny one down here in the corner. All right, so now with all those flowers stamped, yes, these are different than the paper pumpkin kits. You actually get to see what's coming in these kits before you order them. So that's what kind of makes them fun. You can order them anytime, so you don't have to wait and order and then have it delivered, you know, just once a month. So these ones are really fun in that regard. You can order multiples of them and do like a big party where, you know, maybe you order like 4 or 5 different ones and then have some friends come over and you all get to make like 1 or 2 cards from each of the kits, or, you know, however you want to kind of play with these. And then you have the stamp set left over at the end, which is nice. All right, and let's see how that one goes that way. There we go. And this one It goes that way. All right, so now that we've added all the blue and really made those flowers pop, I'm going to set those off to the side. I know we'll be using those flowers again. And we will start to put our card together. So we have these really awesome long dimensionals. And apparently we are supposed to use them on the back of this to pop it up. That's kind of fun. Instead of using a whole bunch of little spots and dots everywhere, we just use these really long strips. And they're just suggesting 4 of them from top to bottom to kind of hold everything up. All right, so with that done, then they are suggesting that we grab one of these shiny elements. Pop that out. That goes right onto the card front. And so they are saying again, oh, to use dimensionals for it. Oh, how interesting. Okay, so this is going to be a really thick card, though, I think, if we do that. I'm going to alter mine a little bit. I'm not going to use dimensionals for that one. I am just going to put a little bit of quick adhesive on the back and put that right across there. Okay, I will use some on the back of this. And so for this one, they just suggest cutting one in half. You don't need a whole one. So just cut one in half and put that on the back. There we go. Now, this is going to go onto our card base, and they were suggesting that we use one of our yellow card bases. So I'm going to fold that. I love that they're colored on the outside and then white on the inside. So that is just going to go right onto there. So we'll peel, actually I'm going to grab my bone folder and flatten this a bit. And we'll peel all those backings off. These are really fun. Okay, stuck to my hand. Another one. One more. Okay. And that just goes straight on the front like that. Okay, so we are just about ready to attach our sentiment now. But before we put our sentiment on here, I'm actually going to grab some twine. They are suggesting, oh yes, it's a very well-loved bone folder. I should probably get a second one for folding cards and keep that one as my ink one. So I am using our new fun grid paper here, in color grid paper. So they suggest 10 inches of ribbon. So I'm just going to measure out 7 and another 3 is 10 and snip that off. Okay. So there we go. I have my 10 inches of this Calypso coral twine. And then they're suggesting that we tie it in a big old bow, one of those big floppy kinds. There we go. I'm just going to kind of even mine out. Okay, so a big floppy bow. And that this is going to get attached kind of on an angle behind our sentiment. Okay, just like that. Now I am actually going to put just a little dab of adhesive there, and that way it's going to get double adhered to my card. The dimensional on our sentiment's going to hold it in place, but so is that little bit of adhesive. And then I can kind of put that down and have it stay in place while I place my sentiment. All right, so now I'll peel that off. And we'll put this on. Oh, come on. Just like that. And that is our first card kit complete. So that's how they are suggesting we complete the first card in the kit. So lovely, lovely card. Our second card in the kit uses the ultra fancy card base. One of those little card pieces and another sentiment strip. Just like that. Okay. And here we go. Again, they are suggesting that we stamp these images and make them kind of bold with our Night of Navy ink. So that is the first thing I will do. Grab my Night of Navy, grab my flowers, and figure out again which way this goes. Just like that. Oops, that wasn't very straight. Oh well. Nothing I can do about it now. And like that. That was better. All right, and then our leaves as well. Oh, and the little flowers, actually. I'm going to have to put one more stamp onto my block. Okay. There we go. And then we do have one more image that I didn't grab. There we go. It's the little flowers. And we ink those up and stamp those. Oops. Okay, so now that we have the ink added to that image, we are going to go ahead and attach this. Actually, I'm going to move all my inky things out of the way. We're going to go ahead and attach this to our card. There it is, our card base. I've lost it for a second, my goodness. And again, we're using dimensional strips to do that. So they're just suggesting that we take, I'm going to save that little half one for my sentiment. We take these and just one on the end, oops, one in the middle, and one on the other side. There we go. And then we peel these off. I'm just going to make sure. There we go. It does look really nice with the Night of Navy. It just kind of, I wondered why I added it because it looked so pretty without. But once you add it, it actually also looks really quite nice. All right, just making sure. I think that's the right way. Okay, so we kind of want to center that. There we go. All right, I guess we can close our card. There we go. Just like that. And then our sentiment, there's our sentiment strip. And so they're suggesting we use the Forever Friends. Where'd my stamps go? There we go. So we'll grab our Forever Friends and a block. There we go. And some ink. And we'll just stamp that right onto our sentiment strip here. And again, watch the top of the D and the bottom of the F just to make sure that you've got them on the piece and staying lined up. All right, and that one is going to get our other half. There we go. And they want us to do that same, what is it? Like tie a big bow. And so let's just grab 10 inches again, because that did seem to work out perfectly. Grab 10 inches of the thread again. Tie a nice bow. Oops. Thanks. Okay, so sometimes working with thread can be a little finicky. There we go. And now they did suggest to pick it up with this sticky adhesive on the back and adhere it that way. So I'm actually going to do that. Pick that up, and then I can choose my placement. I'm going to use it to hide up my stamping mistake. And there we go. And voila, there is our second card in the kit. So that is like really all there is to it. You get 4 of each of these. And if you want to use your kit in that way and just make 8 cards, 4 like this and 4 like this, then you are good to go. I, however, always get a little wild and crazy when I do my card kits. I just have a really hard time doing the same thing over and over and over again. So we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to use the other pieces in my kit in a completely different way to create some new cards. And so if you order the, if you place a $60 order with me, the PDF that you'll get is actually for these 3 alternative cards. You don't need a PDF for the kit cards because, you know, they come with instructions. So what we're going to do is, I had some pre-cut bases. Where did they go? Come back here. All right. So these are cards. You'll have to bear with me just a tiny bit because I have the ideas in my head, but I haven't actually created them. We're going to kind of create them on the fly here. So I have a old olive card base here. And oof, I need my bone folder. That's going a little wonky on me. There we go. So just like that. And then we are going to grab, where did it go? Oh, I'm losing everything. Okay, there it is. So we're going to grab one of the other card bases from the kit, the one that has the polka dots and the nice light, I don't know what color. This might be so saffron because it is a kit from before our color change. So we're going to grab this and my paper trimmer, and we're actually going to cut this down. So I am going to use the polka dot side, and let's see. I want to cut it down to about 3 3/4. So 3 3/4, and I'm saving the other part. And then this way, I'm going to do about 4 1/2. Okay, so there we go. Take that little bit off. So we've got this cute little piece that when you put it on your card front, you'll see it doesn't kind of cover the whole card front, and that's purposeful. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round my corners. Now, if you have a corner rounder, go ahead and use it. That's awesome. I do have a corner rounder, but I want to show you a little trick that you can use when we have circle punches. So if you have a circle punch, you want to open up your circle punch, take the corner you want rounded, and stick it in through the wrong side of the punch. Stick it in through the top of the punch, okay? And then make sure that both edges are lined up and just give it a little snip, and look at that. It rounds your corner for you. Isn't that awesome? So it's just kind of a little cheat if you don't have a corner rounder. The bigger the circle punch you use, the bigger that rounded corner will be. So if you want a smaller round, you want to use a smaller circle. But I know lots of us have circle punches, and so this is a great little trick and tip. And that was just using the 1 3/4 inch circle punch that's available online right now, part of our online exclusives. So I just rounded those corners a little bit. And then I am going to grab, oh, where did it go? I am losing everything right now. I was going to grab, there. Nope, not that one. I had a piece. I think I want to use, yeah, I do. I'm going to grab a piece of crumb cake, and we're going to cut this at 5 1/2. Oh, darn it, this cutter. I always have to open it up, and then I'm always holding it upside down for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, so we're going to grab our paper cutter. We're going to cut this piece at 5 1/2. So that's going to go full top to bottom. And then by 3/4, I think. I don't want anything. Actually, no, I'll do a full inch. Give ourselves some room to breathe. Okay, so a full inch strip. So 5 1/2 by 1. And we are going to attach that to our card front right after we do just a tiny bit of stamping. So because you guys have the Night of Navy ink in your kit, that is exactly what I'm going to use on mine. And I'm going to grab that. and stamp. And I put them somewhere safe so I wouldn't get ink everywhere. There it is. I'm going to stamp the sending lots of hugs on here. Sending lots of hugs. There we go. And now that's going to get attached to our card front. Yeah, if you've never seen that trick with the circle punch, it's super duper handy. All right, so we've got that. We've got that. And now, before we put all of this together, I am going to grab, where did it go? I had a piece of white here. I'm going to go grab a piece of white. It's disappeared on me. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock and my Night of Navy ink again. And I'm going to stamp, thanks, 2 flowers on here in my Night of Navy. Just like that. And I'm also going to stamp 3 leaves. Okay, I'm not sure we're going to use the leaves for sure. We'll see how difficult they are to fussy cut. But for sure we're going to use the flowers. Those are going to be nice and easy. So now you have lots of options to color in these flowers. My preferred is always my Stampin' Blends. And I think for this particular card, we're going to go with a little pop of color and do some orange flowers on there. So I'm actually going to grab my light Calypso Coral. Okay, so just like that. And I'm going to give these flowers a quick little run over with my Calypso Coral. Now, we don't have to be super careful here and try and stay in the lines. These are watercolory flowers. And so we can just be really flowy and out of the lines. And there we go. And then for the centers of these flowers, we're going to grab the dark Calypso Coral. Just going to make sure I'm not frozen up again here. Okay, there we go. And I'm just, not that end. Just going to use this to kind of color in the center here. And so you can see there's like little circles. So I'm just giving each circle a little dot of color. All right, so we've got that. And then our leaves, we're going to keep with the old olive look. So we're going to use our old olive blends. And so same deal with these guys. Don't be too careful. These are like watercolory, right? You'll notice when we stamped that original image on the kit card, the lines didn't match up with the edging. It's kind of intentional. All right, and then we use this to kind of highlight those bits. Okay, so now comes the little bit of fussy cutting that we have to do. I've got my blends, or no, oh my goodness, can't fussy cut with blends. I've got my snips here. I'm going to start by just snipping this off of my cardstock and then snipping this one off. And because these are kind of watercolory, I'm going to try, sorry, I'm going to try not to cut too close to the edge. I'm going to leave a little white border around these. Okay, so this shouldn't take too long. While I'm cutting this, I'll just let you guys know that I do have a lot of classes going on right now. I've been doing a monthly in-person coffee and cards class. So our next one is in June. Yesterday was technically the cutoff for my new core color stamp camp. However, if you don't mind running the risk of having your materials arrive a little bit late, I can actually take registrations for like another week and be able to still get your make and take kit to you on time. It's just your actual Stampin' Up! Product. I can't guarantee after yesterday. So I've got that happening. I've got a Darling Detail Stamp Camp going on in June. Registration for that is from now until March 31st. And then it's also not too late to join our In Color Club. We've had our first session, but all the videos are recorded and the PDF's still available. And the deadline to register to get your materials for the second session has not passed yet. So I could just kind of put session 1 and 2 together for you. And yeah, not a problem. So lots of stuff still going on. All right, so these leaves, I'm actually going to cut them out with a wide enough border that they cut out together as a bundle. So I'm not going to be fiddling around with a whole bunch of loose leaves. Okay. So those actually worked out way better than I thought they would for cutting. That's great. All right. So here we go. One more. All right. And that. And that. No, we will do the third. All right. So the colors are really nice and soft together. We're using a few bits from our card kit as well as some extra Old Olive, crumb cake, and white cardstock. And using this fantastic stamp set that they've given us. It is really beautiful. I love that because we can really change up the card entirely if we wanted to. All right, so before we go any further, let's start gluing things down so that I can do a really nice layout of those flowers. So I am actually going to use liquid glue to attach this. You can use the adhesive. Oh my, what is going on? You can use the adhesive of your choice. Oh, I know what's going on. This was left open and a glob got on here that dried on. I'm just going to peel that off. I don't need that to be a part of my card. Okay, there we go. So this gets glued right all the way over to the fold. Okay, and then we put that down. All right. The one with the bows is June 5, 6, 7, I believe. Yeah. And so I'll be prepping the kits and mailing them out this week so that they arrive on time. It was more the product that gave us like why we did such an early deadline for that one, because at one point there, Stampin' Up! Was taking 12 days just to ship product. So I was kind of panicking that if we left our deadline date any later, people wouldn't get their product on time. They've kind of shortened it up, and now they seem to be shipping in about 4 days, which is actually still pretty long for Stampin' Up!, but way better than it was. So I feel like if you didn't register yet, you could still register and get your stuff. Now that those delays have changed. It was just a little bit crazy for a while there. All right, so now we're going to use dimensionals to put these on. If you only have the dimensionals from this kit, then I would suggest actually cutting up the border and just kind of creating little squares like that to use on the back. And if you have regular dimensionals, go for it, use those. All right, now these actually only require like one in the center. I'm okay with having the petals loose because that's going to give me an opportunity to tuck the leaves underneath. Now I'm going to put these on in such a way that they do overlap a bit, but I'm going to kind of play with them and see how I like them best overlapping. Oh, I think, no. So kind of play with it until it's appealing to you. That I think is how I want that one. Okay, so I'm going to put mine on just like that. I don't know why the direction of the flower matters to me so much, but it kind of does. It's a little bit weird. I feel like there's an up and a down side to these. All right, there we go, just like that. And then same thing for your leaves. If you have regular dimensionals, use them. If you don't, then go ahead and snip up that edging and use the edging. You're going to want to use it anyways. If you don't use it in this manner, then keep it whole and use it to do big long strips behind a sentiment or something like we've been doing. All right, so now these guys, oh, I probably should have decided where I wanted them before I pulled the adhesive backing off. That was silly. I'm going to let that one fly over there, and then the other two I'm going to decide placement before I peel the backing off. That would be smarter. All right, I think those are going to go there, and those will tuck in there. Maybe. This is always the hard part. Yeah, just like that. Okay. So just like that, we go and pop that under, just like that, and that one up there, just like that. All right, so now our card can be finished, or we could grab some rhinestones or some kind of other gem and give a little zhuzh to that. And I think the ones I'm actually going to grab, oh darn it, big choices. Oh, there we go. There's the perfect embellishment for these cards. These are the brand new ombre matte decorative dots. And these are going to be perfect because they have the old olive, the calypso coral, and the night of navy right in our dots. So we're really going to be able to stick with the theme. And so these are the dots that will be your embellishment with a $70 order. So actually I'm going to go just a little bit darker, I think. And we've got two different sizes going on here. There we go. And just like that. And voila, we have our first alternative card with our Forever Friends kit. So super sweet layout, pretty simple card too. So that is our first card. I'm going to set that one off to the side, move our embellishments off to the side, and we are going to grab some paper for our next card. So our next card is, oh, that doesn't have a score line. I'm going to have to grab I cut my base, but I didn't score it. So I'm going to grab a piece of crumb cake, thank you, oh my goodness, crumb cake, and score that at 5.5. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. So we have that like hot dog style card, like long ways. Okay, and again my bone folder, oh, which has now disappeared on me. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when I craft, is stuff ends up everywhere and then I can't find anything. Oh my goodness. Did anybody see where I put it down? All right, well, oh, there it is. Phew. Here we go. Okay, so we have our crumb cake card base for this one. And now I feel like I want to emboss this one though. I don't often do. No, you know what? We're not going to emboss it. We are going to do my latest favorite little thing is we are going to stamp color on color and create ourselves a little background. So we are going to veer away from just using Night of Navy ink, and we are going to use some crumb cake. Now, if you don't have crumb cake, you could use Versamark as well. Oh, I know. Can't see for the look, and that is for sure. Okay. That will be light enough. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stamp some flowers randomly on our background here. There we go. And then, oh, I didn't clean up my leaves. we're also going to stamp in the leaves. Just to give us a little bit of a smaller image going on here. All right. Oops. Try not to do that. Try not to stamp it right onto the flower, but put it beside the flower. Yikes. Okay, just like that. Put one in there. So we don't have to do them everywhere, but we'll put a few around and have some fun with it. Okay, just like that. Another one there. And maybe we'll put one peeking onto the card over there. All right, that should be good. So we're just creating a nice background. You could emboss the background if you wanted, but I think this is going to be lovely. And now we're going to do a little bit of like piecing things together. So I'm going to grab, actually I won't do that. I'll do this. We're going to use one of the sentiment strips from the card kit. And then I need to measure that because our next piece is going to have to be a little bit bigger. So that's 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to cut ourselves a piece of designer series paper that is about 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5. Let's see how wide that is. That's 1. Let's see if it's big enough. Oh, it actually kind of is. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to use that little strip that we had left over of our polka dot front, and we can actually just probably trim that up just a little bit. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer back in again. So I want my paper trimmer to be, or not my paper trimmer, but my cardstock to be just a little bit bigger than that. So I'm left with a cute little square to use on something later. Oops, sorry. Smack the camera with my trimmer. My goodness. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to grab one more piece of designer series paper, or leftover bits from a card. And so I'm actually going to cut up one of our card fronts. I know I'm crazy. So I'm actually going to cut it so that it is, let's see, 2 inches by 3.5. So that's going to be actually quite nice. We're going to do that. Let's see, which way do I want those running? So we're going to do the 3.5 this way, and so 2 inches this way. All right. 2 inches by 3.5, just like that. There we go. And then these bits are going to get saved to create more cards. There we go. All right. And so that's going to go onto our card front. That's going to go onto our card front. That's going to go onto our card front. And then we are going to add a little bit of a floral embellishment into the background. I could use one of the envelope flaps, but you know what? I like to save the envelopes and use them as envelopes on these gorgeous cards. I'm a little bit weird that way. So now that we have that going on, we are going to stamp our sentiment. And I've got to admit, I'm probably going to be using the Sending Lots of Hugs for all of these, just because I find that sentiment really says it all. I can turn it into a sympathy card. I can turn it into a birthday card. I can turn it into a thinking of you card, miss you card. Like it doesn't limit me. It's a great card for any friend, for any occasion. So I'm going to do that, and that's going to go on there. And now we get to do a little bit more fussy cutting. Sorry, guys. So we're going to grab that white cardstock we had again. And we're going to grab our blue ink again and stamp our flowers again. So I'm going to do 2 of them again. But this time I think I'm going to limit myself to just 1 little leaf. I'm not going to need a ton for this. All right, and we're going to use the same colors again to color these in. Now, of course, when you're making these at home, these are your cards. You can do whatever you want. If you have like a beautiful pink for these flowers, or you wanted to make them yellow and really pull the yellow into this card, go for it. That is the joy of creating, is you get to do it your way. All right. And if you don't want to use blends, don't use blends. Like, color these however you want. If you are like that creative, crafty person who can actually watercolor, do it. Use pencil crayons. Really, use whatever you want. You've been fussy cutting the zany zoo critters. I know. I love that the dies match up with the ones that are the same as the stamp set. But yeah, I've been fussy cutting a lot of those other critters that aren't in the stamp set. They are so adorable. All right. This is much easier fussy cutting too, Kim. These flowers are pretty straightforward. Okay. So again, I'm just going to pull these apart and give them a little bit of a border. Now, if you're the type of person who doesn't love the white border on things, one little trick is you can take a light pool party blend and trim around the edges. And I froze. Sorry, guys. I had a feeling it was getting close. There we go. See my big old mess again. All right. So, yeah, if you don't like that white border, a light pool party blend and just kind of outline the whole thing takes the stark white look away. The other option is, instead of stamping these on white, you could stamp them on a color and then just cut them out that way, and then you wouldn't have the white outline either. I just really like, I think if I was going to stamp these onto a color instead of coloring them in, I would probably use, which one is it that we still have? Petal Pink. So I'd probably use Petal Pink if I was going to stamp onto cardstock. But I love the look of being able to get the different tones of color when you use the blends. All right. There we go. But I do like it. It's kind of, it's loosey-goosey. We don't have to be really specific with our cutting, our coloring, nothing. It's the joy of watercolor. All right. Just about done. And the other day, I can't remember if I was talking to you guys or one of my private groups, but I was telling them about the grid paper that I'm using. So the one I've got today is Wild Wheat along the bottom, but they have this brand new in color grid paper that has all 5 of the colors. And I like it because it's got the inches and the centimeters on it. And so I still have my grid, but I also have, you know what, actually I'm going to put that on top. Ooh, look at that. All right, so we're going to add in some flowers, just kind of laying it out before I stick it all down. I'm just that kind of a designer. And then I actually think I want those in like that. No, I don't. All right, let's try this again. This is why I try and kind of set them down before I glue them down. I actually really want that flower on top. I don't want to hide any of it, but maybe I'll move that one over. No. Okay, we're going to really spread them out like that and then have it go up like that. All right, or maybe down. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to put that one down like that. Okay, so that's how we're going to lay it out. So now we just need to get this all adhered. I think I might actually shorten that up. No, I do want that sticking off though. I want them all kind of falling off the ends. Maybe that one will go under a bit. Decisions. Oh, that works. Okay, let's get these three laid down and then we'll put the flowers around. All right, so I'm going to use some dry adhesive to put this yellow onto the green just because it's got the metallic and I don't want any problems. So I'm putting my yellow layer onto my metallic green layer just so that it sticks off the end of it. And then I'm going to take my sentiment here and have it stick off the end just a little bit as well, but I'm going to actually do that one with dimensionals. So I'm going to snip a piece of the edging of the ones they gave us, and there we go, just like that. And I'm not going to glue it down yet. Now I am going to glue this piece down, and again I'm going to use some dry adhesive and do that. And remembering that that's also going to be on there, I'm going to kind of try to center it. There we go. All right, beautiful. Now we do have some twine, and we're going to use some on this card, and I'm going to do exactly what they've been doing, which is that big floppy bow, and I'm going to put it behind my sentiment before I put down my flowers. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the grid paper is so nice. We do have a really nice regular stack of grid paper in the catalog, but the in color one I just find is super fun. All right, and then that's going to go on like that. And now I'll take my sentiment and use that to hold that in place. There we go. All right. And then some of this is a bit bigger than my other ones because some of this is going to get covered up with flowers now. So dimensional on the back of each of my flowers and a dimensional bit on the back of my leaves. Okay. There we go. All right. So now peel these off. Oh, I shouldn't have peeled that off because I was going to play around with the skin. Oh, well. Too late. It's done. So I think, oh yeah, come on. So I just want to make sure that my ribbon kind of stays where I want it to stay. So I'm going to put it over there, pop that flower on like that. Now this one I'll be smarter and I'm not going to take the backing off yet. That I'm going to push my ribbon over a bit, put my flower on like that. Actually, or am I going to put it in more like that? Okay, I think I might. Yeah, I'm going to keep it out here on the end, but I am going to tuck it under. Okay, so I have my ribbons like that. Now that's going to come off. This is going to end up holding my ribbons in place. I do want to tuck that under just like that. And then my leaves, I think, will actually end up there. So we're creating basically a diagonal here, which is what I was trying to achieve and kind of struggling with it. All right, so we've done that. So we've got our beautiful diagonal along there. And then we're going to finish this off with some embellishments. And this time I'm going to go with the old olive just to kind of tie it all together. And pop those on there, just like that. And maybe one up there, just as like the center of that flower. All right. And now that I put that as the center of that flower, I'm wondering how that's going to look if, oops, come on. No, I don't like that. What if I use one of the blue ones? Let's see. Oh, definitely no. Okay, we're going to leave the flowers. They're good. So we have our little old olive embellishment on there. So that is our alternative card number 2. So just a really fun layout and a great way to use up those little pieces of DSP that we have from the card bases and whatnot. All right, now our third card. Where did my piece go? Here we go. So our third card, we're actually going to use this leftover card base. Okay, and so we've got like that. And then I'm going to grab this piece that we had, and we're going to use this. So this is kind of like one of those fun fold cards where the card front is kind of a partial piece. Now for the inside, I'm going to use the back of that other card that we had. So we had that card where we had the piece left over. Oh, actually, I don't really like that yellow though. Oh no. Okay, I'd kind of in my head thought we'd use the yellow, but I don't actually like that. So we're gonna have to find a way to alter this up. Oh my. Okay, so if I don't like the yellow, what are we going to do? Well, maybe we will go a little bit of a different route then. I wonder, how would it look with? Well, that's actually kind of nice. Okay, so what we'll do instead is we're going to use that leftover bit. Oh, blending brushes. Oh, that would be a good idea. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut a 5 1/4 by 4-inch base here from just an extra piece of old olive. And then I am also going to trim down one of my regular white pieces for the inside. Get even smaller than normal. There we go. All right. And what we're going to do, oh, blushing bride. Oh, maybe. So it's just, instead of layering up our front like we normally would, I'm going to layer up the inside and do like that. And then I will put a blushing bride border on this front piece. So just a few little extra bits. So now I actually don't even know what size these cards are that they gave us. So let's find that out so that I can cut an appropriate border. Okay, 3 by, not by 4, 3 by 4 1/4. Okay, so we're gonna have to cut ourselves a piece of blushing bride that is a little bit bigger than that. Let's do 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. There we go. So a little bit of playing around with bits like that. Excellent. Oh yeah, that will work beautifully. All right, so we're going to do exactly that. That's going to be great. Now, I'm not going to stamp on those with the Night of Navy on this card. I want to keep it a little bit softer. But what I am going to do is grab one of the sentiment labels again so that we can put our sentiment across here just like that. Okay, so for this one, we don't have any Night of Navy on this card, so I feel like maybe I'm not going to use Night of Navy for my sentiment. Let's see, where did it go? Sending lots of hugs. Oh, actually, I could and just stamp it right over top. I don't want to ruin that in case that doesn't stand out enough. All right. You know what? We're going to use Night of Navy anyways, just so that it does stand out. So sending lots of hugs again. There we go. And let's make sure my screen doesn't go to sleep here. There we go. Oh. And here we go. So this one we're going to put on here with dimensionals. So all of our layers need to get glued down now. And before we do that, I'm also going to put just a little, oh, actually, do I want, no, I don't want twine on this one. Okay, so we're just gluing everything except for our sentiment's going to go on with one of those dimensional strips again. So I'm just going to cut another strip in half and put that on the back. Those are super handy. I love that. Okay, so glue, 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 and glue. So it's fun what you can do just by adding a few little layers, or, you know, a lot of layers. This card actually is a lot of layers. That's okay. Sometimes it's those layers that just make it so pretty. So that layer, this layer, and this is where those other sentiments could come in. If you knew for sure that this was for a specific reason, you could grab one of the other sentiments in this kit and put them in there. I just kind of try to avoid doing that until I know who the card is for, and then I'll grab the appropriate kind of wordier sentiment to put into my card. There we go. Beautiful layer there. Now to attach this to our front, I'm going to show you guys a little trick, because I don't want, obviously, for my card to get stuck shut. So what I'm going to do is, I know those are the two corners that I want laid down. So I'm going to grab a dimensional strip and put it on that edge that I know I want stuck down. Now, for my next piece, I'm going to just put this beside, go, okay, that's where I want it. And I'm going to run this strip down on the front flap. So now I can peel these two off, lay this down, and I know that I won't accidentally stick my card shut. Isn't that handy, eh? And then this piece can go across the front. There we go. And we'll finish this off with some more embellishments. And I think I'm going to go with the Calypso Coral again. I don't know, I'm just really loving these ones. Okay, and just stuff like that. And that is our third card all done. So I'm going to bring back in all of the cards and show you what we've got going on. Let's just clear up some space. So we just used the two blend colors, and then we created these three alternate cards. Let's move those blends actually. So we created these three alternate cards, as well as the two original cards from the kit. So that is what we've got going on today. So that's just one way where you can take a kit, have some fun crafting, you know, being told what to do, and then make it your own and do your own thing with it. And we still have so many extra pieces left. You could make more of the original card. You could make up duplicates of the cards. And so in the card kit that I will be sending you, you actually will be able to make two of each of these, and you'll have enough left over to also make two more of the original cards. So you'll end up with what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 cards at least out of this 8-card kit. So it's kind of a great one. So you've got the link to place an order with me, a link to this Forever Friends card kit, and this will be on for the whole week. I don't have the post up yet. Sorry, it's been a really crazy Mother's Day weekend and beginning to the week. I've got student-leds happening at school this week. So, but by this afternoon, I'll have all of that up and posted on my site under class kits to go. And yeah, that's about it. So have a wonderful week and enjoy the sunshine if you're here in BC. It is gorgeous out there. All right, bye-bye, everyone.